Good evening. Welcome to our July 19th, 2021 regularly scheduled board meeting. I want to welcome all of our guests, as we are also guests at the Columbus Consolidated Government Council Chambers. And again, we want to say this week, thank you to our partners at CCG. Thank you to the City Manager's Office and his team, including CCG TV with Mr. Mike King, for giving us this opportunity to have our first in-person board meeting while our MCSD boardroom is having some technology upgrades. So we want to show our gratitude and say thank you to our partners with Columbus Consolidated Government. I want to welcome our visitors and friends, and if we have any administrators, thank you for all that you do. I know we have Mr. Alan Harkness from the Chattahoochee Valley Library Systems, and Miriam Rickner from the museum. Thank you always for your partnership and all that you do. Now, as we get prepared for our inspiration, I'll turn it over to Ms. McCray.
Good evening. I should have checked the forecast before I picked the inspiration, but we'll just view it as it was a nice, pretty sunny day. So the thought for today is by Nelson Mandela. It's part of being optimistic is keeping one's head pointed towards the sun, one's feet moving forward. So we can all keep that in mind as we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McCray. Next, we will have our pledge to the flag. We doing it? All right. If you would stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're on summer break because if our students were here, we would be pledging to the Georgia flag, and that's when all the adults get silent. Also, I would like a motion to excuse Dr. Sly. He had to be out of town. Got a motion by Ms. Williams, second by Mr. Cantrell. We'll take a hand vote. All in favor? All right, that passes. Thank you. Item 1.04.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Williams, second by Ms. Chambers to approve our agenda for this evening. We're ready to, are we voting by hand? All right, all in favor, raise your hand, please. All right, that passes.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, I'm going to have to do hand votes tonight. I can't log in because I forgot the password that I changed it to recently, and I don't have my phone, so I'll have to do hand vote.
No problem. That's two with the hand vote. All right, thank you. Up next is our public agenda. And we don't have anyone scheduled to speak this evening, but I do want to take this opportunity to say that all official meetings of the board shall be open to the press and the public. However, the board may meet in executive session. Citizens are encouraged to address items on the board agenda or to initiate presentations of issues appropriate for the school board consideration. The board meeting is not the appropriate place to review any individual employee performance or individual parent complaints that have not been addressed by the principal or superintendent. Citizens are encouraged to follow the normal channels to address such problems, which would be phoning Ms. Jones, our executive assistant at the superintendent's office, or emailing her. All of that information is on the website, and each speaker has 5 minutes. We're moving along to system-wide recognitions. I'm trying to open it up. Do we have anyone today? Mr. Smith, if you would please. Thank you, Ms. Jones.
Board members, we received notification from the Georgia Department of Education a couple of weeks ago, and I'm sorry, Tim Smith, Executive Director of Federal Programs, We received notification that Winton Arts Academy has been identified as an FY21 Title I reward school. So the state has sent us a note of congratulations on having a Title I school named as a reward school. They've sent a certificate for the school recognizing them as that status, and they have defined it as a Title I reward school, as a Title I school among the 5% of Title I schools in the state that is making the most progress in improving the performance of the all students group over the most recent 2 years on the statewide assessments. Your entire district can be pleased with honor. So again, congratulations from the state. So I believe I saw Ms. Mumpower, and I'm not sure if Ms. Mull is here as well, but all right, so they can have their certificate to take back to the school, and that's all I have, so thank you.
Thank you and congratulations to Winton Arts Academy. And it looks like we just have that one item for our system-wide recognitions. We're moving into our action agenda. Item 4.01 is the American Rescue Plan Employee One-Time Stipend.
Move to
Dr.
approve.
Lewis will
Second it.
present that. There's a motion by Ms. Chambers, second by Mr. Cantrell. Are there any questions? Dr. Lewis is going to make a presentation. You may have questions after that, Dr. Lewis.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. In response to the national and statewide employee shortages resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic, I am recommending a one-time recruitment and retention stipend in the amounts of $1,000 for benefit-eligible and $500 for non-benefit-eligible qualifying employees to be paid in 2 installments in accordance with the American Rescue Plan guidance. Due to the many varied jobs and associated pay schedules, qualifying employees will be provided detailed information pertaining to their respective stipend if this is approved no later than Friday, August the 13th, 2021. Funding for this stipend would be provided from the Federal American Rescue Plan. We just got clarification this week, which led to this recommendation, and I'll entertain any questions anyone might have.
Are there any questions?
I just have one question.
Okay, Ms. Chambers.
Yes, it says that it will be in 2 installments. Is there any way we could do it in 1 installment? And is there a reason why we're doing 2?
There's always a way to do it. I'm not recommending that. The idea is for retention, and we're doing it in 2 installments for the purpose of ensuring that we have people that commit to both semesters, working the full year, rather than giving it one full bonus at the beginning or a stipend at the very beginning of the school year. So we feel like that there would be more incentive to ensure that our employees are with us for both semesters, which is critically important for our students.
And is that prior to taxes being taken out?
Taxes would still be coming out of this as a stipend, so it would be considered that. But by doing it in 2 installments, it would be more beneficial for the employees.
Okay.
What is the overall budget number?
Roughly around 4.5 million total.
I just have one thing to, for you
Ms.
to
Button,
clarify.
Scooter.
I have one question for you to clarify. I don't know if it confused anybody other than me, but I asked you already, Dr. Lewis, you've already told me about when I read the term benefit eligible and non-benefit eligible. I got confused on that because I thought if it was a non-benefit that somebody was not eligible. Could you just explain what those 2 terms mean?
It gets very difficult to talk about full-time and part-time. We have so many different employees, so this is probably the cleanest way for us to identify who would be receiving which stipend, rather, in terms of whether they're benefit-bearing or non-benefit.
So it refers to part-time and full-time?
Well, yes, but we try not to use that terminology because there are always exceptions to every rule.
Yeah.
But this is the cleanest way to identify the stipend amounts.
All right, thanks.
Ms. Bloodworth, is there anything you'd like to add to that? I appreciate any consideration.
To say, I'm always glad when we can get our workers more, incentivize them to stay with us and reward them for being there. So thank you.
Well, I will share with you, we've had less turnover this year and this past year than we've had in many previous years. So the problem we have is, number one, retaining folks who, like our bus drivers, our culinary technicians, all those kind of things that we know are difficult to find all throughout our community and throughout the state and nation, frankly. In addition to that, we have less people, young people going into the profession and more retiring than ever before. Like, again, most most entities were finding that a lot of people are retiring. But again, our turnover rate was not as high this past year, but we do have fewer people going into the teaching profession. So this is something we're trying to incentivize moving forward.
Madam Chair, I'm not at all surprised that we have a lower turnover, especially in looking at our peer districts throughout the Southeast. It's been my experience in all the years I've served on this board, with very few exceptions, and that being the Great Recession, that this board has always strived to treat our employees fairly, to pay them as much as we can afford, to make sure that they know in every way, shape, and form that they're valued, that we appreciate them. And I think that we're starting to see that benefit return to our students as more of our teachers do choose to stay here or seek out employment in Muskogee County, as I'm experiencing, hearing more and more about.
I agree. Thank you very much. Ms. Buckner?
Oh.
You have anything else? No? Okay. All right, thank you. That is great news, and, you know, there's nothing else to add to what the board members have said. We appreciate all of the entire group of employees at MCSD.
And I will just share, there are some different stipulations and regulations related to the American Rescue Plan versus the previous CARES, which is one of the reasons we had to get more clarification around who could be considered and what qualifications they had to have and so on. So that's what led us up to holding this until this evening. But just want to get that clarification, and we've now done that, and appreciate any consideration for that and for our employees.
And we certainly appreciate the work in making sure that we can provide or offer this stipend to all of the MCSD employees. All right, any other questions? Are we ready to vote electronically? We're ready to vote. That was a thumbs up for Ms. Williams. All right, that passes.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Item 4.02, Superintendent is recommending the appointment of Christy Grigsby to serve as Assistant Principal at Double Churches Middle School.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Jackson, second by Ms. Chambers. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we are ready to vote. All right, that passes. Congratulations, Ms. Grigsby. And I understand it's Dr. Grigsby. Congratulations on receiving that doctorate.
Thank you so much. To Mr. Baker and Mr. Lindsay and the board, I am so excited to join the Double Churches Middle School family. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Jack Gainfield said, make a conscious effort to surround yourself with positive, nourishing, uplifting people. People who believe in you, encourage you to go after your dreams, and applaud your victories. And I've been so blessed that God has put these types of people in my path. Some of them include Ms. Magwood and Dr. Seckinger. It's been such a pleasure to learn and grow under their leadership. Thank them so much for their guidance and support. Dr. Lewis, thank you so much for believing in me. This district is blessed to have you at the helm. Finally, my family, my boys, JP, who is here looking sharp, And my youngest, Braden, he is in Cartersville, Georgia right now. He's playing in the Little League State Tournament, and I just found out through live stream that they won. Yay! My fiance and his parents, my mom and stepdad, as well as my brother Michael and his family. I'm so blessed and would not be here today without each of you. Thank you.
Congratulations. We're so glad to be back in person, and typically when family is recognized, we expect you guys to stand up. So if you would stand up. Congratulations again. Item 4.03, Superintendent is recommending the appointment of Jeremy Pownall to serve as Assistant Principal at Winton Arts Academy. Motion by Ms. Jackson, second by Ms. Williams. Are there any questions? We are ready to vote now. That passes. Congratulations.
Just have a few thank yous. I'll make it brief. To members of the school board, thank you for your continued service to all stakeholders in the county and for your vote of confidence in me this evening. Dr. Lewis, thank you for the leadership that you provide to our district and for the recommendation for this position. To Mr. Baker, Dr. Wiggins, Mr. Bell, and Ms. Mumpower, thank you for having faith in my ability to serve in this capacity. I'd like to thank Robbie Holt, I think she's watching online, and first congratulate her on her recent retirement and just thank her for the support that she's given me throughout my career. To Mr. Richard Green, thank you for giving me countless opportunities to grow as a teacher and leader and for providing a daily example of servant leadership. To Dr. Scarborough, Ms. Ann Phillips, Ms. Libby Morris, and Ms. Cecily Hinton, thank you for welcoming me to the Fox family and giving me a position to grow and serve alongside you. And finally, to my wife, Afton, who is not only an amazing partner and incredible mother, but inspires me daily as an educator. You've always been my biggest supporter, and I can't thank you enough for that. I look forward to serving the students, parents, and staff of Winton Arts Academy. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mrs. Pownall. Please stand. And your school family. Congratulations again. Next is item 4.04. Superintendent is recommending retired Lieutenant Colonel Herbert Sanders Jr. to serve as JROTC Director of Army Instruction at the Marshall Success Center. Motion by Mr. Cantrell, second by Ms. Chambers. Are there any questions? We are ready to vote now. All right, that passes. Congratulations, Colonel Sanders.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Dr. Lewis, school board members, thank you for this opportunity to allow me to serve as the next Director of Army Instruction for Muskogee County School District Lighthouse Brigade. I promise you two things. I will ensure and I pledge to equip and inspire these young people to achieve their unlimited potential if you give me that opportunity. And thank you for giving me that opportunity. Coupled with the Junior ROTC mission, which is to motivate young people to be better citizens. That's my pledge and my promise to the school district. That will be supported by 5 things: character, leadership, patriotism, professionalism, and scholarship. Thank you. The second part of this, I would like to thank my boss, Victoria Thomas. Ma'am, thank you very much for allowing me to work for you. You create a great environment for us to work and thrive. I would like to thank my Lighthouse Brigade team, Command Sergeant Major G, H.W. Fales, and the Ms. D. Bryant. Last but not least, my better half, Tanya Sanders, please stand. I love you, sweetheart. Our 4 girls, if they could be here, they would be proud. Also our granddaughter and our grandson that'll be 3 years old. Thank you very much.
Congratulations again, sir. Item 4.05 is the new board policy, teacher evaluation appeals. Well, it was, and was this the one from GSBA that we took the language straight from? And Ms. Jones had put on the agenda last week, because it's customary for us when it's something that we really don't have a choice in, for us to waive the 30 days. And we still have that option if we want to amend the motion, or we can bring it back in August, but it's already in effect July. So what's your pleasure? Do you want to waive the 30 days or wait? All right. So we will be voting on this in August. If you have any additional questions, please ask them at that time. And 4.06 also, we'll wait on the table 30 days, is the revised policy of GARH, employee leave and absences. We'll bring that back in August for a vote. 4.07 is our FY22 board training. Motion by Ms. Chambers, second by Ms. Williams. Are there any questions? It's our governance team training plan.
If I'm reading it correctly, the only thing that this board is lacking is the whole board training in February, so everybody's in compliance. And I think that's important.
Yes, that is important to point that out, and that's for next year. Our whole board training is still due this year. That's what we're doing next week. And I'll make the announcement. It's the 27th of July is our current whole board training that's due, but this is our FY22. Are there any questions? We're ready to vote. All right, vote now, please. And speaking of that, it's from 4 to 7 on July 27th, our whole board training. In person, because the order is lifted.
And you can't Zoom in, right, for that meeting?
No.
Okay.
But we do record. Yeah, we do record it. The location, will we be able to meet in our boardroom? MPEC? We'll schedule for the MPEC. 4 to 7. She did, and she'll send us a reminder. Karen will send us a reminder. You missed the communication? Oh, okay. We'll resend. We'll resend. Did we vote? All right, that passes. 4.08 is the sale of the old Rigdon Road. That's motion by Ms. Buckner, second by Ms. Chambers. And that's to approve the sale of the property. That was the old Rigdon Road to B&O Services, Inc. Are there any questions? We are ready to vote now. All right, that passes. Next item is 4.09. It's the sale of the old Rosemont property. Superintendent is recommending the property located at 4322 Rosemont Drive to be sold to DVG Builders. Motion by Ms. Chambers, second by Ms. Jackson. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we are ready to vote now. That passes. Next item is 4.10. Superintendent is recommending the sale of Woodall property. Motion by Ms. Chambers, second by Ms. Buckner. That's the sale of 4312 Harrison Avenue to Lucretia Stevens for Happy Valley Day facility. There are no questions. We are ready to vote now. That passes, bringing us to item 4.11. Superintendent is recommending the sale of Tillinghurst property located at 514 Morris Road. Motion by Ms. Williams, second by Ms. Chamber. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we're ready to vote now. And that's being sold to Cascade Properties. And that passes. It's great to get rid of some of this surplus property.
Yes, Madam Chair, if I may also, last Friday afternoon, one of our media outlets erroneously reported that Bellwood, the old Bellwood School, was still part of our property due to complaints that have been lodged by some constituents in our community. Just want to clarify that property has not belonged to the Muskogee County School District for several years. It was part of a land swap in preparation for the construction of Spencer. Just want to make that correction for the public so they know that that no longer belongs to the Muskogee County School District.
Thank you very much. Next item, 4.12, is the MOU for enrichment services. Motion by Ms. Williams, second by Ms. Buckner. Are there any questions? All right, we're ready to vote now.
Dr. Lewis, how long have we had a relationship, while we're waiting for it to come up, a relationship with Enrichment Services? Do you know? It's a long-standing relationship, isn't it?
I don't know the number of years, but it is very long-standing, yes.
It's a good partnership.
It is. It's a mutual benefit for both.
That passes. All right, last action item is 4.13, is the Columbus Museum project. There's a motion by Ms. Chambers, Ms. Buckner, second by Ms. Jackson. Thank you so very much. We're in case, I don't know where it's coming from. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we're ready to vote now. All right, that passes. Up next, board, is the consent agenda. Are there any items that we have an additional question about? Want to pull out and vote separately? Motion by Ms. Williams, second by Ms. Buckner. Hearing no questions? We do?
I had a
All
quick
right.
question. In relation to the Student Discipline Tribunal, are any of those paid positions other than our current administration?
Yes, we have retired educators that are serving.
And how much is that?
Dr. Vickers, can you elaborate? I don't recall.
Good evening, Board. I believe it is a flat rate, but I will go back and verify that. This year, we're only using them on a limited basis, and that's during testing time or a time where we cannot pull principals and assistant principals out of the building.
Thank you.
Yes,
Like per time, I guess?
it's part-time. $50 comes to mind in regards to.
But you'll
it,
verify.
But I'll verify and send that to you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, we're ready to vote now.
Thank you very much, Ms. Williams. I'd like to say that all of the items that we have been voting on tonight have been thoroughly discussed and vetted, and so what we're doing tonight, we move very quickly, but we have taken care of the people's business. We have discussed all these items.
Thank you, Ms. Buckler. That's our monthly disclaimer. Don't forget to vote.
And the consent agenda also includes our donations for the month, which this month includes some 30, I think, 23 or 30, I can't remember, of over $20,000 from various entities, corporations, PTAs, and a lot of individuals on this month's list. So thank you to everybody for supporting public education.
Thank you so very much. Cannot thank our citizens enough. All right, the next item is under information, and I need to pull it up. Each year, we are fortunate as a governance team that we can meet all of the criteria and qualifications to receive the award for exemplary board status. And so this year is no different. And a part of that process is for us to publicly review our code of conduct. And this year we have, in addition to our code of conduct, our, not our standard operating procedures, norms, thank you, Mr. We have, we've established some board norms. Thank God for the wing. But, so we need to review those, and I need to pull them up. Can you guys go ahead and, we have domains. We could at least do the, I wasn't prepared, I apologize. You have it? They're on there? I don't see it on there. Oh, I was up too far. All right, thank you, Ms. Jones. I knew you had done it. It was just me. Okay. So under Domain 1, we have a governance structure that the board recognizes that the authority of the board rests only with the board as a whole and not as an individual board member, and we have to act accordingly. Number 2 is to avoid committing to constituents that a board member will solve their problems. Number 3, support the delegation of authority for the day-to-day administration and operation of the school system to the local superintendent and act accordingly. 4, honor the chain of command and refer problems or complaints consistent with the chain of command. Number 5 is recognize that the local superintendent should serve as the secretary ex officio of the board and should be present at all meetings of the board except when his or her contract, salary, or performance is under consideration. Number 6, not undermine the authority of the local superintendent or intrude into responsibilities that properly belong to the local superintendent or school administration, including such functions as hiring, transferring, or dismissing employees. Number 7, use reasonable efforts to keep the local superintendent informed of concerns or specific recommendations that any member of the board may bring to the board. Domain number 2 is strategic planning. 1, reflect through actions that his or her first and foremost concern is for the educational welfare of children attending schools within the school system. 2, participate in all planning activities to develop the vision and goals of the board and the school system. Number 3, work with the board and local superintendent to ensure prudent and accountable uses of resources of the school system. 4, render all decisions based on available facts and his or her independent judgment, and refuse to surrender his or her judgment to individuals or special interest groups. Number 5, uphold and enforce all applicable laws, all rules, all regulations of the State Board of Education and the board, and all court orders pertaining to the school system. Domain 3, board and community relations. Seek regular and systematic communication among the board and students and staff and the community. Number 2, communicate to the board and the local superintendent expressions of public reactions of board policies and school programs. 3, refrain from acting on issues that are not in the best interest of the school district when also serving as a representative of other community groups. 4, communicate with the public with language that is professional and not disrespectful, whether it be in person, by electronic means, or by social media in regards to school district issues. Domain 5 is policy development. Work with other board members to establish effective policies for the school system. 2, make decisions on policy matters only after full discussion at publicly held board meetings. 3, periodically review and evaluate the effectiveness of policies on school system programs and performance. Domain 5, board meetings. 1, attend and participate in regularly scheduled and called board meetings. 2, be informed and prepared to discuss issues to be considered on the board agenda. 3, work with other board members in a spirit of harmony and cooperation in spite of differences of opinion that may arise during the discussion and resolution of issues at board meetings. 4, observe the letter and spirit of the open meetings law and vote for a closed executive session of the board only when applicable law or board policy requires consideration of a matter in executive session. 5, maintain the confidentiality of all discussions and other matters pertaining to the board and school system during executive session of the board. 6, make decisions and in accordance with the interests of the school system as a whole and not any particular segment thereof. 7, a local board shall not adopt or follow any code of ethics which prevents the members of such board from discussing freely the policies and actions of such board outside of a board meeting. This shall not apply to any matter or matters discussed in executive session or which are exempt from disclosure under Code Section 50-18-72. 8, abide by all decisions of the board. Domain 6 is personnel. 1, consider the employment of personnel only after receiving and considering the recommendation of the local superintendent. 2, support the employment of persons best qualified to serve as employees of the school system and insist on regular and impartial evaluation of school system staff. 3, comply with all applicable laws, rules, regulations, and all board policies regarding employment of family members. Domain 7, financial governance. 1, refrain from using the position on the board for personal or partisan gain or to benefit any person or entity over the interests of the school system. Conduct as a board member. 1, devote sufficient time, thought, and study to the performance of the duties and responsibilities of a member of the board. 2, become informed about current educational issues by individual study and through participation in programs providing needed education and training. 3, communicate in a respectful, professional manner with and about fellow board members and be courteous with all district employees and respectful of their time. 4, take no private action that will compromise the board or school system administration. 5, participate in all required training programs developed for board members by the board or by the State Board of Education. 6, file annually with the local superintendent with the State Board of Education a written statement certifying that he or she is in compliance with this code of ethics. 7, if a board member moves out of the district to which he is elected to represent, he will notify the secretary of the board and the Muskogee County Elections Superintendent within 10 days of such a move. The seat becomes vacant immediately, and the board will notify the proper authorities at once to begin the replacement procedure. 8, when representing MCSD at conferences, attend the meetings and the workshops and perform all duties conscientiously. 9, avoid talking to affected parties ahead of time regarding discipline cases being appealed. 10, refrain from individually assessing student records or employee personnel files, which we don't have access, thank God. Number 11, take no action that targets MCSD employees or vendors for campaign support. 12, notify a fellow board member in advance if planning to hold a meeting in a school in the other board member's district. 13, avoid surprising board members at the board table with items, issues, information, or motions not expected nor on the agenda. 14, when making posts or comments on social media sites, consider carefully how such communication would reflect on the individual making the post, the board, and the district as a whole, and refrain from language that may be offensive. Conflicts of interest. 1, announce potential conflicts of interest before board action is taken. 2, comply with all conflicts of interest policy of the board, all applicable laws, and Appendix B of the standards document. 3, take no action advocating for and or accepting any gratuities from potential vendors of the school district. And then the last disclaimer is upon a motion supported by a 2/3 vote, the board may choose to conduct a hearing concerning a possible violation of this code of ethics by a member of the board. The board member accused of violating this code of ethics will have a 30-day notice prior to a hearing on the matter. The accused board member may bring witnesses on his or her behalf to the hearing, and the board may elect to call witnesses to inquire into the matter. If found by a vote of 2/3 of all members of the board that the accused board member has violated this code of ethics, the board shall determine an appropriate sanction. A board member subject to sanctions may, within 30 days of such sanction vote, appeal such decision to the State Board of Education in accordance with the rules and regulations of the State Board of Education. A record of the decision of the board to sanction a board member for a violation of the code of ethics shall be placed in permanent minutes of the board. Thank you all for your patience, but this is actually good for us to
I
read
think
this.
that these are all amazing, and it's good. At first, I was like, are you going to read these? And I'm so glad that you did, because it's necessary. I also think it's necessary for this board to annually review the norms. We spent a lot of time discussing this. We spent a lot of time in committee formulating it. And I think it's important, if we don't share at least the preamble, that Ms. Jones, if you would just make sure that all board members receive the board norms document again. And it is in board docs, so you can search it there, but I think it is important that it accompany our code of ethics.
And in order to, yes, ma'am, go ahead.
And just want to let the public know that these are norms that we came up with as a board. We all agreed to these. It's not any rules that someone is imposing on us. We are self-imposing these rules to make sure that we're able to keep the main thing, and focus on the kids.
That's right. And it's important to read it out loud. We do review them annually, but it is a good thing for us to read it out loud, for not just to meet this qualification and this criteria, but for us to continue to develop and function as an effective governance team. And so we thank you for your patience as we self-train. And we also will be doing our self-evaluation. So as soon as I get that done electronic with the help of everybody else, we will be sending that out and establishing our usual people who participated in the past as the committee, and ask them if they still, of course they still support public education, but to ask them to participate again, and then we'll review that as well. So we'll do our self-evaluation as well as we just read over our code of conduct and ethics, and we'll, on our own time, review our personal norms that we develop. Any other questions? Any other comments?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
This is about the strategic plan.
Mhm.
What is the status of our strategic plan? I know it has to be reviewed and redone like every 5 or 10 years. So I was just wondering, where are we?
We're 2 years out from renewal of a new strategic plan.
2 years out, okay.
But it remains a working document
Sure.
in
Yeah.
those interims, yes.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to make sure, because when we're making decisions, all of those decisions should go back to that
Be
strategic
aligned.
plan. So I just want to make sure that as we are planning for it as a district, that the board is involved in that, and that we really know what the vision is and what we're trying to accomplish.
And that's also informed by our COGNIA, formerly Advanced Ed, review that's done every 5 years as well.
And it also involves the community. We have to
Sure.
have a
Right.
session with the community input as well for the strategic plan.
Absolutely.
All right, that's awesome. Anything else?
Madam Chair, I'd just simply like to announce that, again, we announced our reopening plans, our tentative reopening plans last week. And I.
Tentative reopening plan.
Yep, tentative reopening plans last Monday. Followed that up with a Connect Ed message to all of our parents. We are continuing to monitor that ongoing, the situation with the variant that's out there. Please know that we are monitoring that in concert with our medical panel. To that end, we'll be meeting with them later this week. And then I want to let you all know, too, that we are, in the interest of full transparency, we are having and scheduling basically an open, I'm not sure what we're calling that, but anyway, we're going to be having a virtual meeting next Monday from 6 to 7 with members of our medical panel along with select district staff to address any questions, concerns, and to answer any questions that people may have about anything with our reopening plans, but also to give people opportunity to talk to the experts about everything from vaccines to whatever might be on their mind. We have experts there that will be able to answer those questions. So again, we just want to make sure we have that opportunity available for this panel discussion. It will be virtual, and we'll be sending out information on that meeting, how constituents can log on to that virtual meeting. That'll be going out later this week, once we get everything finalized, what platform we're using and all that.
Very good. That's
And again, we're
open
about
to the
3 weeks.
public and an opportunity, and it won't be the last opportunity that they have. They can just call the superintendent's office for any additional input.
We're
Ms.
still
Buckner?
about 3 weeks out, but we're monitoring everything very closely, and we're going to continue to do that because safety of all our employees, our students, and of course, the community at large, still remains our top priority.
Ms. Buckner?
Oh, no, I was trying to make sure that Dr. Lewis had completed his information item, and I'd like to move to adjourn.
Did you say adjourn, Ms. Buckner? Okay, I heard a second. All right, so that was motion by Ms. Buckner, second by Ms. Chambers. All in favor, wave goodbye. We are adjourned. Thank you all so very much.